Hello, hello. Just making sure we're live here. Give it just a minute. Okay, looks like we are live officially. Welcome to the World Changer Quiz. I am super excited welcome to Mastery TV, but today we're going to be talking about the World Changer Quiz, which is a really phenomenal free quiz that we developed, and I highly, highly recommend you check it out. I'm going to be talking about how you can take it if you haven't already taken it. But you're welcome to watch this video if you're on with me live and learn all about it first and how it can really support you in your life and in your career, and then you can go take the quiz after this. If you're watching the replay, you are welcome to go take the quiz, pause the video, take the quiz first, and then you have your results and you can come back and finish out this video. So I'm going to put that link in the chat. You can go to worldchangerquiz.com if you're watching the replay, or to the link I've put in the chat there, the go.followyourliveness.com/quiz. Now, those of you on live, I see you joining me. Hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from and have you taken the quiz before or not. If you haven't, I'm going to say wait to take it until after you watch the live today, because I'm going to be doing some live kind of teaching and coaching, and it's really great for you to actually be on the call with me. So tell me though, have you taken the quiz or have you not? If you did, what were your results? Go ahead and let me know that in the comments. And then we will dive in here in just a moment. So again, I'm McKenna Sage. I am the co-founder and CEO of Follow Your Aliveness and the Mastery of Coaching Facebook group. And here at Follow Your Aliveness, we help coaches and aspiring coaches to grow thriving businesses and lives they love by mastering what we call the coaching trinity: business mastery, coaching mastery, and life mastery. So we, work with people that are not coaches as well. We work with a lot of entrepreneurs, but our primary group here in this Facebook group are coaches or aspiring coaches. And it's really about growing a life and a business that truly brings you alive. So today's video fits in perfectly with that. Our topic is the World Changer Quiz. And what we've found over the years of, working with people is that there's something that the people who are magnetized to our group and to our work seem to have in common. There's two things they have in common in our experience. They are open-hearted and impact-driven. Open-hearted and impact-driven. So if that feels like it applies to you, then you're in the right place. And I would love for you to say hello in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from, and have you taken the quiz before, or is it brand new to you? So we're going to be talking today about this quiz that I keep mentioning, the World Changer Quiz, and it is really, it's a free quiz that we developed to help you really understand your unique gifts and how you can use them to, first of all, change the world in your unique way, but also to grow in your career or business and not only have better results, but feel more inspired and feel more lit up while you're doing it. Hi, Suzanne. Great to see you here. So in today's video, you will get an in-depth understanding of your World Changer profile and how it can help you grow your business and feel more inspired. So Suzanne, I know you've taken the quiz. Would you put what were your results? Put those in the chat. Let me know, what did you get on the quiz? And anyone else tuning in here, if you've taken it before, put your results in the chat. If not, just let me know. Yeah, so Dustin, if you don't remember, just go to your email real quick and type in World Changer Quiz in the search bar, or just quiz, and it should pop up your results, and then you can let me know what they were here. Okay, so you're going to learn how it can help you grow in your business, but also feel more inspired, okay? Because the thing is, you can get better results, but if you're not feeling lit up and inspired in the process, then it's kind of like, why are you doing it in the first place, right? So we want to both grow your results and grow your energy and your aliveness at the same time. That's what this quiz really helps you do. You're also going to learn how to use the World Changer Quiz with your clients if you are a coach or working with people in some way to help them get better results through your coaching. And then you're going to discover how to identify and find the right people to collaborate with in order to free you up to spend more time in your zone of genius. How would you like to be more in your zone of genius? Like, think about that. What do I mean by zone of genius? It's like that is that space where you're like, can you think of a time in your life when you were getting amazing results, whether it was in school or in your work or something, or life was just flowing and, everything was really kind of going your way, you're getting great results, and you're also like in the flow and in the magic. You're doing what you love to be doing. That's what we're talking about here with being in your function. So in your function is a direct result of being really connected to or doing the things that are in alignment with your number one talent. So before we get into the actual meat of the training here, I want to just tell you a couple things about how you can get the most out of the call today. First of all, take notes. So get out a pen and paper or take notes on your computer, whatever you use to take notes. And try not to be multitasking while you're on the call. I know it's great. I mean, if you're out for a walk or something like that, that's fine. But if people are like listening in, but they're also checking emails and they're doing 10 other things, like how much do you really take away from that? I would say if you're going to watch and be really present, whether you're watching live with us or on the replay. And then engage in the comments so that I can coach you and customize what I'm saying, what I'm sharing today to where you are. So like Suzanne shared that she is a visionary motivated by wealth. And so that is really awesome because then I can actually do some coaching here with Suzanne as we're on the training. So Dustin, did you find your results? If so, type them in the chat so I know what you guys have as your profiles. And Suzanne with Visionary Wealth, so that would be a Pathfinder, Suzanne, which I'm sure you know. And in fact, I'm just going to put here in the chat for you all a little image, if it's going to let me put it in the chat. No, it only wants me to do an actual comment. So I'll put it here after the video is over. I wish I could share screen on this, but I don't think I can on Facebook. To show you guys the image of all the different World Changer profiles and kind of how they're made up of the different talents and motivators. Okay, Dustin is an amplifier. So Suzanne is a Pathfinder. Dustin is an amplifier, which would be a connector motivated by wealth. So Dustin, that is my profile as well. And so I know a lot about that one and happy to kind of customize some of what we talk about today to that profile. For those of you just joining in, welcome. And we are talking about the World Changer quiz today. If you haven't taken the quiz, no worries. You can do it after you watch the call. But it is a free quiz and I put the link in the chat, or you can go to worldchangerquiz.com to take it. All right, so you're engaging in the comments so I can coach you and customize what I'm saying. If you haven't taken it and you're watching this live, you're gonna wait, you're gonna take it after we finish today. And then if you're listening to the replay, then you're gonna pause this video, go to that link that I gave you and take the quiz and then come back and finish out the video. So what the quiz is gonna tell you is your World Changer profile. And this is one of 9 different profiles you can get. There are 9 different possible profiles. And it's made up of your number one talent and your success motivator. That's what we call it. Now, a few things to note about the quiz before we really dive in is that you are 100% unique. So we're not trying to pigeonhole you by saying, oh, you are this way, right? You're a Pathfinder, that's who you are, right? Of course, it's an element, it's a way of looking at things, it's a exploratory tool to really help you see how can you get better results and feel more inspired and create a winning team around you. But it is just that, it's an exploratory tool. So as you take the quiz, answer the questions as you are, not as you wish you were. This is an important point as well, is, we really want you to be honest in your answers, and just the more honest you are, the more accurate results will be. And there's no one looking over your shoulder, right, to judge you or anything like that. Just answer really with what feels most true for you. If you don't relate to any of the options, just choose the one that's closest to what feels right for you, and it's best to go for your first instinct here. And I always say, don't take the quiz multiple times. Like sometimes I talk to people and they're like, I took it 3 times because I wasn't sure if it was accurate. And I get it, like we want to be sure, but I really recommend that you try to stick with your first result. Try to answer as honestly as you can and then stick with your first result, because otherwise you're just going to confuse things. And we found that 99% of the time, it's right on the first go around. It's just people sort of second guessing or maybe not understanding their results completely or making a judgment on their results. And that's why they're going and they're taking it multiple times. So just instead of that, if you haven't taken the quiz yet, answer really honestly and then just go with your results as your results. Okay, so we teach this framework in depth in our Coaching Mastery certification, which is called Aliveness Mastery. And then our students use this in their coaching, this quiz, and it's a really powerful tool to help your clients as well, if you are a coach, to really understand their gifts and their talents and how they can really grow their careers or their businesses in alignment or make an impact in the world in alignment with how they're uniquely set up to do that. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard this quote. If so, you can say, well, let me share the quote with you first. So the quote is this: everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. I'm going to read that again. Everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will go its whole life believing it is stupid. That is an Albert Einstein quote, and it's one of my all-time favorite quotes. And if you've heard that quote before, type fish in the chat. I'm just curious who's heard that quote before and who is this new to? If it's new for you, say new in the chat. So this quote really sums up something extremely powerful, which is many of us go through our entire lives like that fish, thinking we need to be climbing that tree and thinking we just don't know what we're doing, right? We look around at everybody else and they seem to be successful or happier or whatever we decide, we think they are. And we go, what am I doing wrong, right? What am I doing wrong? And what if instead, if you were a fish, we plopped you in the water and said, go for it, right? Then think about how different that would be. Like, oh my gosh, this comes naturally to me. I'm like swimming along here. I don't even have to think about it. I can breathe. Like the world looks very different. I can see more clearly underwater. And that's a whole different experience, right? Versus trying to climb that tree and getting nowhere. All right, the same is true in reverse if we judge monkeys by their ability to swim, right? So it's a funny example, but I think it really illustrates this point of how much in your life are you trying to sort of climb trees when in reality you should be swimming in the water, right? And you can kind of get a sense of this by how much of the time do you feel like I just don't know what I'm doing or I'm out of my depth. Now, of course, there's going to be areas in life where you need to grow and you need to develop 100%. And there's going to be those moments where you feel a little stupid or you feel like I don't really know. And that's a different thing. What I'm talking about here is like that persistent feeling of like just not, I don't know, feeling like other people have something figured out that you don't, right? Or you're working, you're doing things, you're going through the motions in life, and it's just not really lighting you up that much, right? So, who has had this experience of sort of feeling like that fish out of water? If so, say, I guess fish out of water in the chat, because I'm curious who has had that experience. And this is what we're talking about here in this quiz and in this training is if you're trying to build your business and change the world like everyone else is, like what you see everyone else doing, then you're missing out on your own rocket fuel. Think about it this way. Imagine you are this like amazing rocket ship, okay? It costs millions or billions of dollars to build this beautiful vessel that is you. Of course, there's no price tag on it, but we're just going to use this as an example. And so you're this like incredible rocket ship. You've been designed to go to space, and you're gonna try to fill your tank with like unleaded, like the lowest level unleaded gas, right? But the truth is, like, you're a rocket ship. You need like special gas. You need rocket ship fuel. And you're sitting there not going anywhere and wondering like, why am I not getting anywhere? So what is that all about? What if instead you found your own unique blend? Like people researched, right, and figured out like for you specifically, for this amazing rocket ship, like the perfect blend of different components to create a fuel that would just blast you out into the stratosphere. That would be a very different experience, right? So the truth is, you need to find that blend. And that is true. I'm using this as an example, of course, but that is true in making a positive impact in the world. And that is true in growing your business, whether it's a coaching business or a different kind of business, or even if some of you watching are in a career and you want to really advance in your career, you need to find your proprietary blend, your specific rocket fuel. And that's what this quiz is all about. So when I found out, for example, that I am an amplifier, like Dustin, who's watching right now, that really shifted things for me because prior to that, I had been behaving or I had been trying to build my business in a way that didn't actually fit for my profile. And in, the language of the quiz, you'll find out what your talent is. And my talent is connector. And instead of being really in that talent, I was working more as an arranger. So arrangers are really great at systems and let's see, they're like the maximizers. They're really great at like systemizing things, and because of that, they're really great at scaling things. And they work really well if they have like they don't have to come up with the ideas necessarily. They're sort of like putting order to someone else's ideas or helping, take a great marketer and systematize things so that the business can really grow. So an arranger, they tend to be very like organized. They tend to be very, what would you say? Yeah, structured in the way that they think. They don't have to be like clean people. That's not necessarily it. It's just that they love putting things in order. And they tend to be very systematic. Well, I have a lot of that in me in the sense that I'm very organized, I'm very systematic. But here's the rub. And this is the key for those of you watching who learn about your top talent, is that your talent is not just what you are good at. Your talent is what brings you the most alive. I'm going to say that again. Your talent is not just what you're the most good at. Your talent is what brings you the most alive. So if we were just doing this quiz based on what are you the best at, I might have gotten arranger as my number one talent because I'm very good at it. It's a skill that I have honed in my life. But the truth is, it drains my energy. I don't feel excited when I'm doing the arranger things. Instead, connector, which is my number one talent, is the people side of things, right? It's all about like connecting with people, talking to people, bringing people together. And, we talk more about what these are I'm giving you like very high level here, right? But when you take the quiz, it'll tell you all about your profile. But that's at a high level what the connector is all about. And the more I started to make that shift, so when I figured out, oh my gosh, I'm not an arranger, I'm a connector, and I started to reorient the way I approach my work and my life to be more in the connector role. So instead of being just behind the scenes tinkering and creating things on the computer, I really started getting out there. I started getting more coffees with people. I started getting on the phone with people. I started getting on Facebook Lives and showing up more and, being more there's many different ways you can harness connector. It doesn't have to be the same way I am, but I started putting gatherings together and bringing people together. And then my business really started to take off and I had so much more energy. I was so much more fulfilled, right? When I was out of my function, I was having anxiety and I was feeling like burned out. And when I got into my function and my top talent, things really started to shift. And so I want you to think about that for you. Like Suzanne and Dustin, who are watching, I know you both know what your number one talent is. So if you had to rate yourself on a scale of 0 to 100, how much of the time are you spending in your number one talent right now? So Suzanne, like how much do you get to really be in alignment with the visionary right now? And Dustin, how much are you really aligned with the connector right now? Go ahead and put a percentage in the chat so I can see where you are. And there's no right or wrong here, no good or bad. It's just good to get that kind of measurement of where you are. So the more time I spend in my function, the more successful we become. When I get caught up in tinkering behind the scenes and doing more of the arranger, I lose energy and our business declines basically. And so it's really great to see this, but not only in business, also in my personal life. If I'm not really making sure to get that connector side of me filled up, then same thing, I lose energy. So I want to share a little like blurb that somebody wrote when they took the World Changer quiz. And she said, the World Changer quiz made me completely rethink my career and work direction, looking deeper to identify what truly brings me joy and fulfillment rather than just knowing the things I'm good at or could use to make a positive impact. So the point I want to make here is that there's what you're good at, which are your skills, and then there is your talent, which is what you have a natural gift for that truly brings you alive. I'm going to say that one more time. There's what you're good at, your skills, versus what you have a natural gift for. So what you're good at could also be a natural gift, right? But what you've developed as a skill that you're good at versus what you have a natural gift for that brings you alive. So I want you to start to look in your life, and you can even play around with just making a list. What are my skills? And what do I love doing that just comes so naturally to me? It almost feels like breathing, right? Or that I just love doing that really lights me up and fills me with energy. So this is how you start to make distinctions here. Now, the next point is I want to help you see how can you identify and find the right people to collaborate with in order to free you up to spend more time in your zone of genius. So Suzanne said 80% of the time she's in visionary. That's really good, really good. Dustin, 60 to 70% of the time. Also quite high that he's in connector. So those numbers are high. Now you could ask the question, how could I be 10% more in my function? And the goal is not necessarily to get 100%, because unless you have your life set up in such a way that like everything else is taken care of, sometimes you're going to need to do the other functions, right? Do the other roles. And that is especially true in the earlier days of running your business. You may not be able to delegate the things that you don't necessarily love to do, and you might not be at a point yet to hire those out, for example. But you might have friends or family that could really support you in those areas so that you can get more into your function. Or it might just be a matter of tipping the scales in your own life on what you're focusing on to be more on the things that are really in your zone of genius and less on those other areas, right? When we look at our to-do list, instead of just checking things off the list, going, what's really in my zone of genius? What's really going to help to move the needle forward in my business or my career? So in that, you can ask the question, 10% more. How do I get 10% more into alignment with my function, with my talent? And if you don't know and you can't really remember, like Dustin, you took the quiz a while ago. I don't know, Dustin, if you ever got the extended report, but we have a extended report bundle that you can purchase. It's like $19.97 or something like that. It's super reasonable. And it goes really into depth on your profile. So not only do you get a couple of bonus audios on how to make the most of your results and how to create your winning team. They're like 45-minute audios, something like that. You also get a whole report, like a PDF report that goes into depth on your profile and, how do you use it in your personal life and at work, and what are some of the challenges to look out for, and all kinds of stuff. So if you're not sure how to sort of get more into your function, then that's a really great place to begin, is to get that report. And I think the link, if you've taken the quiz already but you did not get the report and you still want to get it, that's the link right there, is worldchangerreport.com. You'll just go and you'll find your profile, and then you can purchase it right there. Dustin says, no wonder why I moved away from mechanics. Machines don't talk much. Yes, and I know that you love coaching, Dustin, and that makes a lot of sense. And not that, again, many coaches are arrangers as well, or visionaries, or, they don't have to be connectors. So what I often see with arrangers who are coaches is they may still love the coaching, but they may also be really into creating a business where they create a lot of like online systems for their business that really help them grow and scale and reach more people. Visionaries often make great coaches. A lot of entrepreneurs are visionaries, and they really love, helping people see the vision for their life and how to create that and step into what's possible, for example. And everyone is unique, right? So these are just generalizations. So what I wanted to talk about there is in terms of really finding people to collaborate with to be more in your zone of genius. So part of it is seeing in your own life and on your own sort of to-do list or your focuses, are you doing the things that are really in your function? How can you increase the amount that you're in your function? And then we talk about something called the winning team. So before I talk about the winning team, I'm going to read you another little quote from someone who took the quiz, and she's actually one of our trained coaches in our Aliveness Mastery program. So she said, knowing my world changer profile has been a game changer. It helped me see a lot of things that just aren't my cup of tea that I need to get support with. I'm so much more aware of what I need to be doing to be in alignment, and I feel more happy and at peace. It's been life-changing. And this was from a client of ours, Carly Jane, and she is a realtor. She actually went through our coaching mastery program, and she's not even a coach. She didn't even want to be a coach, but she did it for her own personal growth and development, and also to really hone her skills of working with people, because every, real estate is a people business, right? So she learned communication skills and she learned how to really understand what motivates people. And right, she learned so many different skills that she was able to bring out into her business. But not only that, into her life. Like when she took the quiz and she really learned about the World Changer quiz, she went out and she hired an assistant to fill in the roles. She's also a connector. And she was trying to do all this stuff, all this arranger tasks, and just not like getting anywhere, and it was wasting her time. And so it was better for her to spend the money, to invest the money in getting an assistant part-time at first to take on those roles. And then from there, she was able to really free herself up, feel more energized, more at peace, like she said, and then really grow her business. She's been growing by leaps and bounds since then. So Ali says, I'm a spark, a visionary motivated by shine. Ooh, yeah. So our first shine person on the call today. And I'll be talking about the motivators in just a moment. So visionary, again, creative ideas person, like sees visions for what could be. And it's not to say, by the way, if one of these is not your talent, that you don't have some of these other pieces. You surely do. Like I have moments where I'm in the vision and I'm in what's possible, right? It's just not my number one talent. So that's all we're saying here is, what's your number one talent out of these three? So she is a visionary and then motivated by shine, which shine is often misinterpreted, and so is wealth. Those two people get very like, oh, I don't know if I'm shine, right? I don't really want to be famous, or I don't really want to be up in front, or I don't know if I'm wealth. Like it's not all about the money for me. Notice how there's these narratives of like what that means and like kind of this guilt and shame around the motivators. I'm going to be talking about that in just a minute, Ali. So if you had any of that, I don't know if you have, then we'll be discussing that. Or maybe you didn't. Some people are like, right on, that sounds like me, right? So we'll talk about that next. But first, I want to really dive deeper into your winning team. So your winning team is to really get the best results in your career or business. We say you need the winning team, and that is the visionary, the connector, and the arranger. So someone on the team that fills each of these roles and is really like that is their main zone of genius. So to give an example, I'm a connector. My mom and co-founder, Gigi, is a visionary. And then, so the missing one is arranger. Well, for the beginning years of our business, we both have a lot of arranger skills that we've developed, even though it's not our number one talent. So we were able to really fill in that role ourselves. Pretty quickly then we hired an assistant to fill in the role of arranger. And since then we've had team members to really hold that role. So that in that we still have the triad. We have the winning team of the visionary, connector, and arranger. Now, why is this important? Because in that, each person gets to really hold their function, and it really helps your business to grow is the main thing. It really creates sort of that rocket fuel overall for the business, because there's not any sort of balls getting dropped in these different areas, but it only works if the three are really working in synergy with each other and you're not sort of butting heads or trying to get into the other person's role. Okay, so again, we go much deeper into this. When you take the quiz, you'll learn about your profile. If you get the extended report, you also get the descriptions of all three talents and all three motivators. So if you have other people in your life taking the quiz, you're going to understand more about their makeup and what motivates them, and how what their gifts and talents are, and they can also always get an extended report as well. When people go through our certification, we actually give you all of the extended reports, so you really understand all the different profiles, and you can work with your clients in a very deep way around this. Let's see if there's more I want to say about that. I think that's it on the winning team today. So can you see, like, let's see, Ali, you're a visionary, Dustin, connector, and Suzanne, visionary as well. Can you see how getting those other roles filled, right? Getting someone in your life who is really like Ali, if you have, and this doesn't have to be a business partner, by the way. This can be like, again, assistants, or like you hire connectors are often like the natural marketers. In certain ways, they love to just like have an idea and just like share it with everyone they know. And so they're very natural marketers. And then the arrangers, as I talked about, the systems and the structure side. So we don't have any arrangers watching the call today, at least not anybody that's shared in the chat yet. And so can you guys see how getting an arranger in your life, whether it's a part-time assistant or a business partner or a friend who helps you out or whatever that might be, or even a coach, right? Coaches can fill the other roles for you. So can you see how that would really help you to get better results in your business? If so, type results in the chat. If you guys really see how getting that role filled would support you to grow faster or more effectively, to really be able to get out there and change more lives with what you do. Ali, I don't know what you do. Do you want to share in the chat, like, what's your business? Are you a coach or some other kind of business? Let me know. And then can you see how getting the other function of like the visionary or the connector, depending on what you are, would also really support you? Something we see a lot with connectors is that with visionaries, we see that they're scattered if they don't have the support. It's like they have a million ideas, they're super creative, but without the support of, like a coach or assistant or whatever that might be to really help them structure and stay on track, they flounder. Like they can just have all the ideas all day long, but it never actually goes anywhere. They start a lot of things, but they don't actually finish them. Ali says, I'm naturally not a finisher. Recently found out I had ADHD, coach and training. Yeah, exactly. So that's, I think ADHD is like this superpower that so many people have, and it's been looked at as this really negative thing, but the truth is it's like common, especially in visionaries, and there's so many gifts to that. And you really need, like, we have a woman in our mastermind right now. She went through our certification first and then she came into our mastermind, and she is very ADD, like one of the more ADD people I've ever met. But the amazing thing is, like, with the structure and the support of the program and, us coaching her and supporting her, she's been able to accomplish so much, so much. She, I won't go into too many details because I don't want to reveal who it is, but she's has multiple different businesses going, and she's growing quickly, and having those calls and having that support has been such a game changer for her. So again, looking to see how can you get those other roles really filled. And we go a lot more into this in the extended report bundle I talked about, because we have a whole audio on how to create your winning team. So if you're curious about that, again, that link is in the chat here. It's worldchangerreport.com. That's only if you've already taken the quiz. If you haven't taken the quiz, you'll take it first, and then you'll have the option to get that extended report from there. So Ali, I'm curious, how are you getting that support, or are you yet, to really help you, stay on track or harness all that visionary creative energy? Or is that still a challenge of yours that you're discovering how to move past, or work with rather, in order to grow your coaching business? Okay, next up is energy and inspiration. So we've talked about your skills versus your talent. We've talked about creating your winning team. And now let's talk about, how do you grow in such a way that you really have energy and inspiration throughout the process of growing your business? Because I'm curious, Ali says bit of both. I can't remember what I asked that had two options. Bit of both, meaning like you're getting some support but also still struggling, or maybe tell me a little bit more there. Because I love to make these, again, very interactive. I love that you guys are engaging in the chat because I may be able to coach or support you. The more you tell me here, like on some of these calls, I get people like really in here sharing what's going on with them. Like if any of you are just listening and not typing in the chat, I highly encourage you do that, because I will throw the script away and I will just work with you because that's my style. I want you guys to really get the results, and people learn so much from hearing you being coached. So Allie, I'm curious, you said bit of both. You're getting some support but still challenged by it. What would you say, what is, not even just in regards to this, just in general, like what is your biggest, my coach also has ADHD, but she's not trained in ADHD. Okay, so yeah, so you don't need someone who's trained in ADHD necessarily. I think it's more a matter of really having a coach that is actually, in fact, I would almost say you want someone who is more structured as your coach. I mean, you have a coach, which is great, so I'm not saying don't work with your coach. I'm just saying in general, moving forward, as you think about how to get more support, I would really look at someone who is very structured, who can actually balance you out, but not overly structured, because you don't want them to be like putting your lights out. So there's a dance to this. I had to really learn this because my mom is a visionary and we work together. And in the beginning, this is something to watch out for as an arranger. So the arrangers, we talked about visionaries. Their challenge is sort of like being a little all over the place in a way, even though they're brilliant with their visions. But if they have the right team and the right support, they flourish. Connectors, our challenge is really choosing the right people and projects to align ourselves with, because we can overcommit very easily, and say yes to too many things and end up overwhelmed. And we can also end up saying yes to things and people that aren't actually in alignment with our values, and then ending up really feeling drained and not like we're in the right place. With arrangers, one of the biggest challenges is when they're working with other people, they can get too serious and too structured and tend to put other people's lights out. And so it's really important, if you do work with someone, like if you're a visionary and you're looking for a coach who's a little more structured, you want to make sure that they can really, that you collaborate in such a way, or that they coach you in such a way that it pulls things out of you and it allows you to have your creative process first, and then from there they help you structure and see the steps to take, because otherwise they'll put your lights out. And if you've ever had that experience as a visionary where you're sharing all your ideas and you're talking about things, and then someone in your life is just like, okay, but you need to like structure it this way, and let's do this and that, and you're just like right, like down with your energy, and it just doesn't seem fun anymore, right? So there's a way to do this, and this is something that I really feel that I've mastered. And then as people learn our frameworks and our program, we really teach them how to work with people in such a way that they're not just putting ideas onto them, they're really pulling it out of them. So that's part of our coaching method. So those are just a couple points there, Allie. But what I was going to ask you is, what are you most challenged by right now, whether it's around the visionary thing or something else, as you are growing your coaching business? You said you're a coach in training, so you're just getting started, but what's the biggest challenge that had you come to this call today, or just in general? And I'll see if I can coach you a little bit around that. Same thing for anyone watching. Like, there's several of you watching. What are you most challenged by right now? I'd love to do some coaching around that. Make sure you really get some support today. Okay, so has anyone ever felt like you started your business or you started a project feeling super inspired, but over time that inspiration just sort of fizzled out, right? Or maybe you are going through a lot of ups and downs with your energy and your inspirations. Like one day you're excited and you're inspired, and then the next day you're like, just not really feeling it, right? And so there's no opportunity for you to really gain momentum. Momentum is an object in motion stays in motion. Think about like a car. If a car is in neutral and it's not moving, and we push it and it starts moving, it's going to keep moving for quite a while. An object in motion stays in motion. An object at rest stays at rest. I think that's physics or something, I don't know. But basically, if you're sitting still, you're going to sit still. And if you keep starting and stopping, like how far are you going to get, right? Versus if you get that thing moving and then you pick up the gas and you keep going, you're going to get so much further. And so in this, I want you to really think about are you having these ups and downs in your energy and your inspiration when it comes to your business? Now, some ups and downs are natural. It's a part of being human. I have up days, I have down days, that's okay. But in general, my overall energy and inspiration for my business is there because I'm doing the kind of work I'm meant to be doing and I'm in alignment with my talent and my motivator. And so that's what I want you guys to think of right now. And if you feel like you are a little on and off with your energy and inspiration, or you have that tendency in the past, then type momentum in the chat. So I know who relates to this, that you've had that experience in the past of like starting something, being excited, and then just kind of losing steam, or, going for it. And then one day you're on, one day you're off, like that. Type momentum in the chat. So the main thing here is there are many different possible reasons for this, but one thing, if you're in work that you love to do, let's say you've already started coaching or whatever your dream career is, let's say that the work is something you love doing, then the reason for that lack of inspiration or that lack of sustaining the inspiration and motivation is often not knowing your success motivator or how to use your success motivator to get you inspired and keep you inspired. So for example, awesome, Tony, great. And Tony, have you taken the quiz or not yet? Just let me know in the chat. And then what do you do would be my other question. So Ali, you said you are Shine, right? If you're still with us here. So Shine Motivator is about really, it's about having influence and about using your shine to have an influence and an impact. And so the way that you are uniquely built to make a difference in the world is if you align with Shine as your motivator and discover what is the way you want to shine, that would really help you make the impact you're here to make and create the results you want to create in your business, okay? So in that, if you look at that, Ali, do you have a sense of that? Like, how would you love to shine? And that doesn't have to mean like being up on video, or it could mean that, or it could be pictures, or it could be the more things we think of stereotypically of being out in the front shining. But it could also be, like writing a book. So my sister is Shine motivated, and you would never think it because she's actually a pretty private person, and she doesn't love to like be super visible online. It's been challenging for her to sort of work through that and show up a little bit more. But the truth is, she really wants to have influence in this way of like changing the way people raise their kids. She's a parenting coach. And so she, through her writing and through eventually a book and maybe a blog and like these kinds of things, wants to have this influence that will make a difference in that area. And that's really what Shine is all about. Wealth is also one that gets a lot of flack, or people are like, I don't want to be wealth motivated. And it's actually my motivator. And so people think, oh, well, that's selfish, right? Or it's not just about the money for me. That's something I hear a lot. It's not just about the money. And of course, it's not just about the money. If it was just about the money, you would have gone and become, a banker or something like that, or you would have gone into finance and not done anything having to do with changing the world. Do you guys get that? Like the fact that you're in this Facebook group, the fact that you're taking a quiz called the World Changer Quiz, and Tony, perfectly fine that you haven't watched it yet. You can definitely watch it after this training. But the fact that you're here means that you're motivated to make a difference in the world. And so in that, we just assume in the World Changer Quiz that anyone taking that quiz wants to make a positive impact in the world in some way, whether that's like in their own community or as a coach or in even a bigger scale. So in that, then that is of course a motivator for you. But the other motivator is important to look at. For me, it's wealth. And wealth is that the more I have, the more I have to give. The more money I make, the more I can pour back into my business, the more I can pay my employees, the more I can, make a difference because I'm showing up as my best self because I'm taken care of. I'm showing up in a different way for my clients, right? So if you have any shame around Shine or around wealth, if one of those is your motivators, then just know that there's something we call the desire paradox, and that is simply this. The more you get what you want, the more you'll want to get others what they want too. The less you get what you want, the less you're paying attention to helping others get what they want, right? If you're broke, if you're struggling, if you're not taking care of, if you're putting everybody else's needs above your own, how much energy and inspiration are you going to have to really give back to other people? Not a lot, right? Now imagine on the other hand, you're filled up, you're making good money, you're taken care of, you're, you know, have a healthy give and take in your relationships. And how are you going to show up for your business and for your clients and for the world? Very, very different, right? So the more, again, the more you're getting what you want, the more you'll get others what they want too. And so that's where knowing your success motivator is super important. Ali said, I like the positive spin on shine. I feel like I have a lot to give and share from the experiences I've pulled myself through, and I want to help others to recognize the strength in themselves to do the same. Being a positive influence is really important to me. Awesome. So great. So I want to continue this conversation, Ali. Why don't you send me a message so that we can, because we will be ending the call soon, and I'd love to just like dig in a little deeper and understand a little more about you and how we might be able to help. And then Tony, I think we're connected already as well, so we can chat more. Or Ellie, I don't remember if we're chatting already, but I want to wrap up here in a moment with the training. We've got a little bit more to go. So what I want to say is that apart from wanting to give back, the quiz is going to tell you what else really inspires you to go for getting results. And I really want you to take the shame out of it. And we have some exercises in the extended report around how to move through shame if you have any shame around your motivator. So last point I want to make here is how do you use the World Changer quiz with your clients to help them get better results through your coaching? So Ali and Tony both said you are coaches in training. I'm curious, what kind of training are you in? That's great for me to know as well. Are you in like a certification of some sort, or are you just kind of preparing to start your business? Let me know that. So if you are a coach and you want to just send people to the World Changer quiz because you think it's great and have them take it and find out their results, you're absolutely welcome to do so. They're going to learn a lot from watching the video, and they can always buy the extended report to go deeper. Now, you know, you're not going to know that much about all the other profiles and everything. So, and really kind of the intricacies and the ins and outs. So I wouldn't go too deep into that. I would let them just kind of like take the quiz, dive into the report, and you guys can talk about it. That's a great tool to use in your coaching. If you want to go much deeper, then definitely then just type clarity in the chat and make sure you friend request me, because then I can message you and we can chat about how you can go deeper and really learn the whole skills and frameworks of the World Changer quiz. But if you're going to have someone take the quiz and you're going to just talk about their results, even friends and family, by the way. So this is true whether you're going to use it in your coaching or just have friends and family take it. First of all, never assume you know what your friends or family are, because you might be very surprised. There are people who have taken this and they're like, I was sure that my, mom or my sister was going to be this, but then they totally surprised me. So let them take it, let them see what their results are. I would share with them, remember to answer honestly, even if they don't relate, choose the closest kind of question or closest response to what they resonate with, and that we're not trying to pigeonhole people. This is just an exploratory tool. Now, when you are talking to someone about their results, really important as a coach or a family member or friend, that you never want to assume that because someone has a specific result, that means they are a certain way. And this is where the subtleties come in of actually coaching people around these, is I never say to someone, okay, because you're a connector, then you must love going out and meeting people and getting, hosting gatherings. I think you should really host a gathering, as a way to grow your business. I never assume that. I have no idea, right? All I know is that they have something in the talent of connector because they self-identified basically that way through answering the quiz questions. So like Dustin, he's saying, I always thought that about the wealth, that I ain't money motivated. Yeah. So in that though, right, wouldn't it be great if you were like, if you really owned, if you love to earn, right? Or if you love to make money, and just own that about yourself. And it doesn't mean anything bad. You don't have to go broadcast it to the world. You don't have to go tell everyone. But then it's like you can have fun with that. Like, how do I create more income here? Because I know it's going to help me make a bigger difference in the world. Looping back around though to connector, like Dustin, I would never assume, and I know that you're actually someone that the social stuff has been like maybe not as comfortable for you in the past, but I would just ask questions instead to really go like, well, how do you identify with being a connector? Like, what is it about people that you do really love? Or what is it like, is there anything that you've seen other people doing that really is about connecting with people or getting out in front? Not in front, like, necessarily shining in that way, but like getting out and really being in connection with people that you are curious about. So I would ask questions like this, and Dustin, you're welcome to answer if you want. And then he would be able to explore for himself how it shows up for him. And, you know, for a lot of people, these kinds of things can bring up stuff, especially like the shine. When I first started my business, even though I'm not shine motivated, I've come to really love a lot of like hosting these lives and getting out in front. And when I first started my business, I had a lot of like self doubt and a lot of like, I didn't want to do any of that stuff. And so it really got more comfortable with it over time. So just know that self doubt doesn't mean that it's not your motivator or your talent. So again, ask questions to help people explore how they can get more into alignment with their top talent and motivator, but don't say you are this way or you should do this because this is your talent or your motivator. And if you really want to master this quiz, we teach this and dozens of other coaching skills and frameworks in our Aliveness Mastery coaching certification. It's much more than a certification. It's a 9-month program. I rarely talk about our programs in depth on these trainings because they're really about giving value, but we've covered a lot today, and I just want to touch briefly on it in case you are curious. You can type clarity in the chat, send me a friend request, and I can just send you more info about the certification. But it is a 9-month program, and we really go into 3 different areas, which is coaching mastery, life mastery, and business mastery. So we really help you not only become an exceptional coach, even more exceptional coach. A lot of people are already certified who go through our program, or they're already working with clients, but they want the skills to go deeper so that they can have more repeat clients and more referrals, so they can be getting better results with their clients, have a better reputation, and grow their business as a result and their impact. So a lot of people come into the program already, are coaching and want to deepen their skills and grow their business. And then some people know they want to become a coach. They're early on in that process, and they want to master not only the coaching side, but also the business side. So we really do both of those in this program. You have a complete business program you're going throughout the entire 9 months, along with the coaching certification. So you're getting that support, because that's what drove me crazy when I first started coaching, was like, there's all these certifications out there, but they're not teaching you how to grow your business. And like, I need to get this business started in order to make this sustainable. And so I went out there, I took all the programs on business, I learned a whole bunch of stuff. I saw what worked and what didn't work in growing my business. And then we really put that into our program. And then lastly, it's about your own personal development and transformation, because you, in order to coach in a really congruent way, in order to get the best results for your clients, you need to be going through your own transformation in the process as you're learning to use these skills with others. And so what people get out of the program is like hugely clarity on what they want, the kind of business they want to grow, how they want to make an impact, and really then the step-by-step support to help them actually do that, right, through the business coaching side. And then we work with you on really all aspects of life. So it really is 9 months. It's about birthing a new version of you, birthing the next evolution of your business, and really setting you up. It's a mastery program. Like, we go super deep, really setting you up to have that rocket fuel and to not have to wait. I'm going to be interviewing a client next week here in the group, Nicole, and she is in our program right now. She's only about 6 months in, and she started following our business framework and making sales within the first couple of months of the program. And then last month, she just hit a huge goal for herself. I think it was like 10,000 euro in her business. And that was a huge deal for her to hit that goal. And then now she's going for even a bigger goal. But she has that step-by-step support while she's continuing to hone her skills to really grow her business. So I just wanted to put a little plug in here, even though I don't normally talk about our programs in this call, because the World Changer Quiz is something we go into in depth in that program, along with dozens of other skills and frameworks that you learn, that you use, by the way, with yourself first, again, to grow yourself and your business, and then with your clients as well. So if you're curious about that, you can schedule what's called a clarity call, which is just a free 30-minute coaching session with our team. And we just really walk you through to help you get clear on your vision, what might be holding you back. And there's nothing for sale in that call. It's just an exploratory, like you get a sense for our coaching and we get a sense for you and whether it might be a fit for us to support you. And then if you are curious, then we schedule a follow-up call. We have you actually apply for one of our programs. Suzanne says it's a fantastic program. Yeah, thank you so much. She's in it as well and has been doing amazing. So if you're curious about that, type clarity in the chat, send me a friend request, otherwise I won't be able to message you, and would really love to connect with you and share more. Either way, I hope you got so much out of the call today. What was your number one takeaway? If you're still on live with me, I'd love to hear from you in the chat. What was your number one takeaway from the call today? What's something you're going to go out and really apply for yourself or with your clients? We covered a lot. We talked about what's the World Changer quiz all about? We talked about the fish in the tree example, right? Not being like a fish trying to climb a tree, but really honing in on your unique gifts and talents. We talked about what you're good at, your skills versus your talent, and then really identifying what is what, because that's really important for growing in a way that really brings you alive. And then we talked about your winning team and how do you actually find the right people to collaborate with in order to free you up to be more in your zone of genius. And then we talked about energy and inspiration, so your motivator, your success motivator, and how that can get you inspired and keep you inspired to get results in your career or business, and really taking the shame out of that. And finally, how you could use this to work with your clients if that's something you are curious about. So whether you come into our program or don't, that you can really, have people take the quiz and ask them questions about it, or come into our program, really learn the ins and outs of it, as well as everything else I shared about today. So what was your number one takeaway from the call today? Out of everything we shared, go ahead and put that in the chat. And yeah, I so appreciate you all being here. Would love to stay connected. You're welcome to reach out to me if you have any questions. Send me a message on Facebook. And I would love to support. So thank you so, so much. I'll be back next week, same time. And next week we are talking about, let me see what the topic is. How to get your coaching clients to follow through on your coaching. So if anyone's ever had the experience that you're working with a client and they say they're going to do something and then they don't actually do it, or they're just not getting the results that you hoped for, then this is going to be really a call to tell you how do you support your clients through that so that they're actually getting the results they came in for, because there's nothing more frustrating as a coach than knowing how to help your client get the results and they're just not doing it. So that's what we're going to be talking about next week, Monday at 11 a.m. Central Time. Make sure you convert that to your time zone, and I would love to see you there. Okay, bye-bye, everyone.